Hello everyone and welcome to this special YouTube live stream. I hope you're all doing very well. Please give me a quick sound confirmation that I know that you can all hear me. Also keep in mind for these streams that, or I hope you read the legal trade disclaimer, as everything I'll be covering in these streams is no financial advice and for educational purposes only. But I thought, especially with the strategy that's been released today, so my new altcoin strategy for free on YouTube, I recommend to check that all out. Yeah, I thought it's a good idea to have a look at some altcoins and have some fun. So you can also submit some requests of altcoins that you want me to look at. And yeah, then we can have some fun here on the altcoins. I'm also going to have a look at Ethereum as always, because Ethereum, yeah, is the biggest altcoin. I can have a look at Bitcoin, and if you want, I can also cover a trade that I have taken today. So yeah, let's see how that plays out. So we can see very interesting price action across our bigger markets. So we had major drops on ES and NQ starting on Friday, continuing today. So I'm gonna put this on my fourth screen so I can have a look at the chat while I am going through the altcoins. Let's see. Okay, sound is good. That's perfect. Thanks for the confirmation. And before we do that, there's just one more thing I have to do, and this is manage one trade real quick. So let me see, I am in this long trade right here on NQ on the retest of this NY VWAP, but now I want to focus on altcoins, so I'm just gonna move my stop loss higher, look another 820 here on that trade. So but yeah, I don't want to only look at the futures here. So let's start by looking at Ethereum, review a little bit of what was happening here over the last couple of days. And there was one setup that our Champions members obviously know, because I shared it in one of my streams. That was this level down here. I was looking for the SFP into that region down here. It was also a 0.25, so a Fibonacci pull from this low to this high. That was a very technical trade. We can see it ended in a bounce of 9%. What we can see ever since is that price is forming a range more or less. So nothing crazy is happening here on Ethereum, especially with our major or bigger markets going a little bit crazy. I just have to manage that trade once again. So yeah, is what it is. But I want to lock a couple more here. So I'm going to lock 1200 on that trade. That's not too bad. Yeah, so I'm going to do some fresh analysis here on Ethereum and develop a plan. I want to start by marking out some new high time frame levels in case we have any. You can see there's no new weekly level of interest. What about the dailies? We had a daily today, so there was a daily here. I'm going to have a look at this, but it looks very unlikely that I'd be interested in a long here on Ethereum. But let's have a look at this. That's actually something that we had just now or a couple of hours ago. So I need to update this fixed range profile here as well. Volume, value area low still below. And when I'm looking at this, I hope you all watch the strategy. So what I said there was the following. So I was looking, or I'm always looking at liquidity. On Ethereum, we have taken the liquidity to the upside. So that, in my opinion, is finished up here. What happened afterwards? We can see price had a nice rejection. It ended in a 4-hour SFP even. Then we closed candles inside the value area high. Next target is the point of control. Point of control lost, closed below. Our next target is the value area low in confluence with some vol or some liquidity. So for me, the daily is not really interesting for a trade. I am not taking a long trade here. And I would much rather wait for liquidity to be taken to the downside. And one level I can see here is 2,519. It is debatable if we get down there. And also in terms of the confluence, it's not like A+. And so I'm going to have a look at order flow here and check the templates and auto flow to see if I prefer this level or this level up here. So let's go over to ATAS first and have a look at what's happening down there. So I am going to take you over to this screen here and we're gonna check the order flow. Ethereum USD on Bybit. The tick size, want to go down to a tick 20. And those, by the way, are all templates that we covered inside CC. So if you are a little bit overwhelmed with these templates, don't worry. Okay, and this is previous week low, so that actually doesn't look too bad for a scalp. I'm going to see about the weekly profile as well. ETHUSD. For me, as you know from the strategy, it's always about context and confluence. For this low at 2,500, there's really not the best confluence. So I'm going to have to look at something else. So here it is, previous week low. And this now, by the way, is looking for scalp trades. So not a swing trade, more of a scalp trade. And in my opinion, the best level to look for a scalp trade is going to be 2,600. We can see there's already an alert placed on my end. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at next. That's the only trade I can see on Ethereum. One thing to note though is that Ethereum is moving super slow here. Me being a little bit more focused on swing trades, I'm not even too bothered in trading that. I'm going to place an alert. If we hit it, we can check the order flow and see if there's a trade to be had. But my preferred scenario, this is something that I think I already covered in one of the YouTube updates, is that I would like to see 2,000 being taken out. So we have a very similar scenario to what was happening here. Price was forming a large range, and for a very long time we have not taken the, let me make it an exact level, we have not taken the 3,000 psychological level down here. So within this entire range, I always said I wanted to see 3,000 being taken, then I'm looking for my next trade. That's exactly what we've done here, and then we had a beautiful bounce. So if we look at the same, just for the 2,000 level, we can see on this pair here, we have not taken the 2,000 level. So it's been a small front run of 2,000 down here. And in my opinion, it would be best to grab that liquidity down here below 2,000 into this daily. And this, by the way, is a level where I am interested in a swing long trade. We can see that here. It's marked out already on my end, looking for a swing long at 2,000. No financial advice, obviously. I'm checking the reaction, but that's what I'm looking for on Ethereum. All right, and now I want to move over to some altcoins. And why don't we start with some altcoins that you requested in the chat? Let me see. Pop in some altcoins that you like to trade on Bybit. And after that one, I can cover one of the trades that I'm currently in. But I want to have tell on Bybit. I'm going to have a look at that. I think I never checked that before. Can replace Sol. I was in this. Oh, nice. Solana is also moving into an interesting level. I had this day trade here. That's now closed. Gave you all the take profit. And yeah, moving into a very, very interesting level on Solana. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to move, I'm going to stay on Solana because I need to look at Toao. I need to look at Solana. And here I can look at the one that's been requested. It's Tel, right? Tel, I'm going to see on Bybit. This is only on spot, but nevertheless, let's have a look at this. I typically prefer to look at altcoins that are traded on derivatives, but that's all right. Let's check this. I can already see something that's been really interesting. So in terms of the monthlies, there's nothing too crazy happening here. We do have a weekly level below us, then we also have a weekly above price. So that is the most important levels on the higher time frame for me to mark out. I can see a daily above, so there is a little bit of resistance above price. We can't deny that. In terms of levels to the downside, this weekly is also a daily, don't really have to mark that out. And the rest, to be honest with you, is a little bit too far away. So in terms of high time frame levels, that's all I need. And now I want to check the order flow for some NPOCs. So that's always a key factor of analysis for me. And I'm going to do that here in Atas. All these templates are also available to our members, obviously. So let's have a look if we have some NPOCs. I can't see any naked point of controls on the weekly. I'm going to check the monthly real quick to see if there's something below price. And there's also no monthly close by. So I need to go down to the daily time frame and see that. Let's tell USDT. And I can see quite a few requests popping in, so keep them coming. I will have a look at some of them. Obviously, I can't cover all of them, but I can already see quite some interesting and familiar names in the chat, so that's beautiful to see. And let's see this. So there is one NPOC down here. I at least want to mark that out, but we have to give it to Tel. That's been a beautiful respect of this naked point of control. And I just have to say, if I saw that at the time, this is a must-take trade. I'm going to show you on TradingView why that is. People who follow my strategy probably know. But that's been a super technical level here. But anyway, I'm going to mark out the level below. This is 00708. So 00708. And that is a naked point of control on the daily. And I would almost say that this is all the NPOCs that I need here. So nothing above price. And I don't want to look at anything that's too far away. So I would want to look at something that's a little bit close by. So one thing that is very, very interesting is, remember from my strategy that I explained on, or that we released today. When I look for a trade, I am always looking at liquidity first. So what was happening here in terms of liquidity, and with that, the context. Let me just hide all of these levels real quick so we can really analyze this and also make this an educational stream. So we can see the liquidity down here has been taken. So that low is finished. Ever since, we can see price had a massive run to the upside. With that, we've taken the highs. This is a bullish market structure. Price is making a higher high. If we see pullbacks, we can look for a higher low formation unless we see something changing with the context. In my opinion, another factor that I really like, and you know that from the video that we released, this high does not look very finished in my opinion. So I would prefer to see higher on Tel. This low has been amazing. Now I would like to see the liquidity to the upside taken as well. I already said that this NPOC was a very technical trade. Why is that? Because we have flipped the previous supply into demand. So we had supply once, twice, 3 times, broken out of this range, retested, and we had a nice bounce. Obviously, that trade is missed, so I'm going to look at something else. But from what I'm seeing here, this coin moves very technical. Because what I already eyeballed here was that we had the exact same setup down here. Okay, what was very interesting, and that almost looks identical to what's happening or what might happen here. We had this previous supply zone broken, first retest, then we got the SFP and then higher. So if we project that into the future and look at this right here, we had the supply zone broken, first retest, bounce. Now we look for another liquidity grab into a nice confluence and maybe expect higher. So this is something that I am keeping in mind for TEL. And with that being said, now I have to work out the best confluence zones. So high time frame levels already done. I need to check some volume levels. That is really nice. So on this NPOC, we also have the previous range value area high and the previous range point of control. I am going to mark out the value area high. This is a level that I really like, especially on altcoins, you know that. So this is already a good confluence here. Third part, does anyone know in the chat, by the way, what is the next part I have to check? So we have context, confluence, but there's one part missing in terms of confluence. I have a high time frame level and a volume level. What else is missing? Anyone watch the video that I released today? Let me know in the chat, because that's very important. In between, I'm just going to do another volume analysis. I would be curious to see if anyone paid attention and knows the answer. Let's have a look at an anchor. Oh, wow, this is also an anchored VWAP lining up here. This is amazing. And Chris got it, Fearless got it, Hans Jufka got it, Camel got it. Yeah, amazing. Well done, guys. Exactly. This is, we have context, confluence being volume level, high time frame level, and also good price location indicated by a CC. So, or CC or 7.5, both is valid, but you guys are doing really good in the chat. That's exactly what I was aiming for. And this is the CC lining up with that level as well. So I have to give it to TEL, to be honest with you. It's an outstanding level of support here. We have a CC on a previous range value area high, on a naked point of control, on an uptrend anchored VWAP. To be honest, in terms of confluence, there's nothing else I can ask for. We have beautiful liquidity grab down here. We have good context. Yeah, very well done for the person requesting this one. I am definitely going to add it to my watch list. I must say that. It looks very interesting. It's only on spot, but anyway, very interesting. So how would a trade look like here? We covered two parts, context, confluence. Now I need an entry trigger, right? So we're looking at a daily time frame. Do I have to snipe the overall low? Say we're moving into that level. Do I have to take an entry down here? In my opinion, not really, because I am playing this idea of a new high to be made. So what I can do is I can allow myself to move into that level, wait a little bit, let the market show its hand first. I want to see strength. That's indicated by a bounce, a higher low to be formed. We get the confirmed market structure change, and I would take a long trade on this asset right here. So I always prefer to be a little bit more conservative on that one as opposed to trying to snipe the overall low. Because we can simply check that with this fixed range, not fixed range, with this risk to reward tool here. We can see even with an entry like this, a little bit of room on the stop loss, this would give me a 4 to 7 risk to reward. And that's all I can do as a trader, right? So that's already been a really good setup. Yeah, I like that one, to be fair. And now let's have a look at the trade that I'm currently in, as I promised. And this is Toao. So Toao is one of the coins that some of our members like to trade. It's been requested in one of my altcoin streams. And what I really like, this is similar to what we were seeing here on this TEL USDT, just vice versa. So here I'm looking at a previous range value area high that's going to be flipped into support. On Tau, we had a previous range value area low that, or I wanted to see that being flipped to resistance. However, at the time of hitting that level, I updated our members and said that Tau looks super strong, especially with this daily close above the previous value area low. I was like, I don't want to short strength and instead wait for a sign of weakness first. So for me, a sign of weakness was indicated by a market structure change. So I drew that out during one of the streams and I wanted to see the following. That was, I wanted to see this previous low being taken, so a new low to be formed. Then I want to see the retest of around the CC. We can see that here. It's a little bit of a zone, so not exactly hit. But I wanted to see that lower high formation. And that for me was an entry trigger on Tau. For me, this is a very interesting trade, or one where I am not too focused on having a quick take profit. Let me explain to you why that is. So in one of these altcoin streams, I gave a long trade down here. And since I am already in this long from the lows, I can allow myself to be in this short trade without taking a quick take profit. So for me, this trade starts as a hedge. For me, since I'm still in this long trade, it doesn't really matter what happens next. I'm still gonna make money. Okay, so this is how I am managing this trade, but this trade has been executed here around this retest. So we are more or less still at entry because I didn't snipe the absolute high here. So my entry is somewhere around this region here. We got a retest of this entry today, by the way. So what I'm going to do now is place an alert for lower to see if we can see continuation on this trend, because what I like to see here is that on the local time frame, what we are doing is this is our high, lower low, lower high, lower low. This might be the lower high to see another lower low. This is something that I would prefer, obviously, because I'm in that trade, but I'm going to be open to whatever the market is giving me. My stop loss invalidation is above this high. This is where I would then close the short trade and only keep the long open. And now I also want to have a quick look at Solana, because as I said, Solana is coming into a very interesting level. So I have to update my analysis on Solana real quick, and then I can take another request from the chat. So here I want to hide everything for now and only look at the high time frame levels for now. We do have an untapped weekly below. It's been a really close call, but it was not tapped in this candle here in October, 14th of October. So let's see. All right. Just gonna have to check one thing real quick. All right. And yeah, on the monthly, I don't think there's any, otherwise it would have been marked out. So in terms of the daily, there's one daily that we actually hit right now, but I'm preferring the level below. In terms of dailies of resistance, I'm gonna mark this one out. So I can see there can be some low time frame resistance. That's that. In terms of NPOCs to the downside, I don't have to mark anything out other than that. So now I want to check all of the confluences that we might have at around this zone on Solana. So my alert is placed for the weekly at 146.4. So I'm also going to remind myself of this setup and see what we do have in terms of confluence. And that's already very nice. So we can see on this test where I did take this day trading long, we had a initial bounce. That was not really a massive bounce, but it ended in at least a day trading opportunity. The next target, since we are now getting acceptance back into this previous range, value area high, is the previous range point of control. So here, once again, according to the strategy, we do have context lineup because I do like the low. I like the low. We have confluence lineup, and now I have to check the price location as well. So let me do that. Here I want to look at a 0.25 range and see if that's also coming in somewhere down here. You can see the 0.25 is even up there. So it's coming into a very deep retracement. That's something to be aware of, because the deeper the retracement, the less likely, in my opinion, it gets that we find support at this level. So for me, the max pain scenario on Solana, before I am expecting $100 to be taken out, is this weekly and the previous range point of control. So in my opinion, it's either going to be the bounce at around this zone, or else I am expecting 100 to be taken where we have amazing confluence. But with that in mind, I am interested in this level because it is something that I could foresee being defended. Okay, because it's quite an important level. If we then lose $100 on Solana, that might get a little bit more bearish, but this is also a trading idea, obviously, or something that I'm interested in. Here I also want to check the weekly to see if we have anchored VWAP support somewhere around there. Let's see. And no, that's not too good. What about the start of this impulse? I want to anchor it here on September 23. And this is also, I don't like this level. That's been tested too many times, because when I look at this, it's been demand once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Should I really consider another trade at around this zone, or is that a little bit exhausted and I should look for liquidity? In my opinion, the latter is yeah, the better idea here. So I am going to wait for 100 to be taken if this weekly does not hold. But that's going to be a very interesting level here. Once again, I'm not presetting a limit here. I want to see the reaction. And yeah, then I would be interested in taking a trade at around this zone. So now I can have a look at another request from the chat. So let me see. I can see Ondo, Algo. Gonna scroll up a little bit. Ada, Rune. Why don't we start with Algo and then I can have a look at a couple more. So I'm just gonna have a quick look here at the futures, but there is nothing crazy happening here. Just got a small visitor here. The dog came into the office, so don't know if you can hear it in the background. So let me check Algo. And it's been a while since I analyzed Algo, so what I'm gonna do is delete everything of my analysis and do some fresh analysis on this one. I can see massive weakness here, so I can spot this with the plain price action here, and I can see we lost this range, flip the demand into supply. So I think this for sure is looking for some liquidity to the downside, but I'm going to do some in-depth analysis on that one, obviously. First, I want to check some monthly levels, but there's nothing untapped to the upside. In terms of weekly, this has been tapped. That one was also tapped. That was the exact high of this lower high formation, so that looks quite interesting. And other than that, nothing to the downside. We do have a couple of dailies, but that's it. That's it. So I'm also going to check some NPOCs as always. Just gonna check this real quick. Wow, what a beautiful and easy trade. But let's stick with this. And Endura, yes, I did trade futures today. So it's been very, very volatile. I must say that. But yeah, many opportunities to be had today. I can see an MPUC at 38, 0.38. Looks interesting. At about 413, also something that I want to mark out. 0.413. And I'm also gonna check the daily MPOCs. I can't give a definite answer on the tick size because it always depends on the volume and the range of the underlying asset. So for example, on Ethereum, I can use a 20 tick chart for the daily MPOCs, whereas on Algo, for example, I can see that I have to go down to a tick 4. So that is very dependent on the different assets. Okay, let me see. There's one MPOC 2932. I'm gonna mark that out, and that's it. 02932. 2932. 3668, and that's it, to be honest. Now I can take you back to trading view, and that's that. So gonna have to check some volume here on this. So let me know in the chat, how many of you have seen the strategy video that we released today? Because I really recommend to check that one out. All right, let me have a look at the volume down here. That's the previous range value area, and that's what, I mean, we can see it across altcoins. It's very overpowered, but previous range value areas, we can see that here on Algo. It's been the absolute low of this move. So yeah, very, very technical level. But yeah, it's been tested already, so I have to hide that. Give me 1 second. Yeah, the dog wants some attention, that's true. He's been out for a walk, and yeah, now he's very active still. Let's see, this daily is the only level that I could see here. I'm gonna check some anchored VWAPs. That's not a great support, neither is this one. I'm gonna check a 1-to-1 target here. The 1-to-1 is also much lower down here. And if we reach the 1-to-1, this is gonna be very far away. The 7.5's been tested already. I must say the only critical support I can see here is going to be this daily and this previous low, because the moment we are losing that right here, I'm thinking to myself a full previous range value rotation is in play, and we might even see much lower, and that means another 50% drop on Algo. So that right here is going to be a very critical support. I'm going to place an alert to see if we move into that level, reclaim that. But yeah, have to be very careful on that one. And yeah, Ego, you know the problem. It's yeah, he's over on or he's with us for vacation time only, but yeah, they do like some attention. So critical support, I must say. But what I'm a little bit more interested in on that coin right here is actually going with the trend and look for some short trades. One of my favorite confluences is the anchored VWAP tool, so I'm gonna have to check this. Gonna have to check this anchored VWAP in confluence with the previous range volume. So at around 0.4, we do have some interesting confluence. What about CC is in the middle of that as well. This right here is too low. So that's what I'm looking for as a very, very big resistance. This NPOC I'm going to delete. That's too close by for me. I don't really like to trade that. Think about the probabilities of this, but yeah, that's going to be an interesting level where I would look to take a short trade into that target. So I'm going to place an alert for this. For me, levels of interest on Algo are easy to be identified. This is major resistance, this is major support. So that's what I am looking at. Cool, so that is Algo. Let's move on to the next one. I'm also going to have a quick look at the futures to see if there's something that I have to do here, but all looks pretty decent here. Nice price action with this supply into demand flip here. So nothing I have to do there. And let's see, ONDO. I've seen that a couple of times, so let me check ONDO. Not this one, need to go to the altcoin list. ONDO. We are at one of my areas of interest. That is very good to see. Let me analyze this then and see if there is a potential entry here. So my area of interest is between this weekly NPOC and the previous range value area high again. What you can see with the drawings that this is a little bit unique. So you can see one of the setups that I shared in the altcoin stream over on our website. I think it must have been last week. So this is an active setup we and the champion members are looking at. But what you can see with the drawings here is I need to see strength first. So what does that mean? It means if we test the level down here, I need to see closes above this weekly NPOC as well as this anchored VWAP support, and I want to see a market structure change. So let's have a look at this on the lower time frames and see if that happened yet. We can see this is not the case. So for now, let's have a look at the 1 hour market structure very simply here. You can see prices forming a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Is it a good idea to long into this now? In my opinion, it's not really. So when looking for a swing trade, do I have to time the absolute low of my entry, or is it better to wait for a strength indicated by high, higher low, trend change, and then get a new entry? In my opinion, that is the much better alternative. So that is what I will be doing here on ONDO. And other than that, I don't really have anything to update. since we are exactly at the level of interest here. And yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm going to box price in with some alerts above and below to see, or that I will be informed if we hit that, or hit the lower level or get some reclaims. Then I want to be aware of it. So let's now have a look at Rune. I can see someone really pushing Rune. So yeah, I'm gonna have a look at that. Let's check Rune. This is LTC. Okay. Rune. Interesting to see. So what I'm going to do next is have a look at the watch list. We can see red across crypto. So it's been a quite bearish day on the altcoins. But Rune is actually up today, so up 2.9%, and we can see, what's that one right here? I forgot, IP against USD Tether. That one is up 20%, so that might be worth looking at as well. I'm going to do that next. So let's check Rune. Rune on the daily time frame. Wow, with this massive drop to the downside. Can already say, just by looking at this right here, I won't be longing this unless I see market structure changes, because this one's been super bearish, very, very bearish. And yeah, no, we can see that here. I mean, what's the point in trying to long here without waiting for the overall low to be taken? Have we hit the one? Yeah, the one USDT mark. By the way, I just scalped a quick short here on NQ. Let me manage that one. I'm gonna move the stop loss lower here just to see if that was a nice 30 candle, one of my strategies. So that's that. And yeah, on Rune, I can't look for a long trade. So what I'm going to do is see where the next resistance comes in case we see a rotation to the upside. So I can see a fresh, untested weekly here. There's a weekly above, but that's going to be very far away. It's all the way at $7. I mean, that's 700% away. Monthly, there's, oh, that is interesting. There's some monthly here. But I must say this coin looks quite bearish. I think I don't even need NPOCs on this one. I'm going to do that here with some high time frame volume. As always, previous range volume. What a nice reversal that was on the futures already. This is previous range point of control, value area low. What about anchored VWAP? It's all the way down there. It's not even helpful. What about the one-to-one? Where's that going to come in? That's going to be negative. All right, yeah, that one looks very bearish. What about an anchored VWAP from here? That's, wow, the volume is really building down here. We can see massive volume, a lot of liquidations, I suppose. So not really a coin I'd like to trade. But also here, the resistance, super simple to be identified. That will be this previous range point of control on the CC, on the weekly, just going with the trend here of a high lower low, lower high, lower low, looking for another lower high, and then take that thing into the lows. So super bearish chart, super bearish chart. And how do I draw the fixed range volume profiles? That is, so we do have a lesson on this, but it's the fixed range tool here in TradingView. And then you select a range where you want to analyze the volume. Then you can click on one candle, drag it to the next candle of the last candle that you want to include in that range to get the volume profile. And yeah, you can, by the way, sometimes I do that from right to left like this, or from left to right. It does make a difference with this tool, while it makes a major difference if we draw a Fibonacci. Okay, you can draw that the other way around, but when it comes to the fixed range, it doesn't really matter. So sometimes I do it from right to left, sometimes left to right, whatever I like at that time. So that is Rune. Can't really give you a different setup other than that. Don't like anything. I'm going to place an alert for the lows though to see my settings here. I can share that real quick. That's my settings. So I am using 148 range and 70% volume area or value area. This is, by the way, a major difference for some people. So if you have a different value area, I can actually show you the test. Let's just include 50% only. And then you can see this is much smaller. But for me with volume 70, and some people use 68, but 70, that's what I get. So now let's check this coin right here that moved a lot. I want to see this on the lower time frames. Oh, we back tested this previous supply zone here. That looks quite interesting, to be fair. This previous supply flip to demand. What about anchored VWAP is below? Gonna go down to a 30-minute time frame here. And also let me know in the chat, by the way, does anyone know what this is, IP? So I must admit that most altcoins, I'm only looking at the chart. I have no idea what these projects are. But what about IP? Let me know, is that an interesting project, or is it just a nice chart to trade? So I have zero idea about this one, to be honest. Getting some acceptance into the previous range value area low. Now at point of control, target would be this, so there is some room to the upside in my opinion. I'm gonna have a look at some retests down here. What about the CC for this? Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting level for this. What was that? That is Sunday, Monday. About this. I can see some day trading potential, to be honest with you. That's 4.8. We get this. I'm going to place an alert for this. Because what I would like to see is actually the retest of the value area high and this anchored VWAP. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, we reject here, move into the CC, then I consider this a good buying opportunity to take it into the highs again, because that's been a beautiful flip here. So I'm going to have a look at this on IP. Alert is placed, and yeah, there was a short squeeze on IP recently, so no tokens can be sold in exchanges. Okay, layer 1 for intellectual property. So I have a look at this real quick here. NQ retesting previous week low. Already got the first rejection, now the second one, so it looks like one's higher still. What about gold? Is anyone trading gold? Gold made a new high this morning. Quite nice. Right, what else do we have in the chat? And that is also, by the way, something that I already mentioned in the strategy video, but that's the great thing about trading altcoins. So I can look for hundreds of altcoins. I can look for the best context. I can look for the best confluence. I can look for good entry triggers. But if one of these pillars just is not given, I'm simply moving on to the next one. I don't ever have to chase anything when it comes to altcoin trading. And that just leaves us with many, many opportunities. So yeah, I do really like that about trading altcoins. And in my opinion, this is a much better strategy than just hodling altcoins, holding them for a certain amount of time. Because we can see these coins. I mean, what is this Flocky? I know that Flocky at some point had a massive pump to the upside. I think back then we even had a long setup on Flocky. I don't quite remember, but that moved 800% to the upside. But ever since, we had a drop of nearly 80% to the downside. So how annoying would I be if I was invested in Flocky, didn't take profits, and didn't even take advantage of shorting that coin? So yeah, that really goes to show the power of trading that. And yeah, what else do I want to look at? Dot, I think, is quite bearish. Kato, I can see. Is that on Bybit, though? Yeah, I'm gonna have a look. Okay, see a pump that's been released on Bybit on it's last Thursday, so not a lot of history on that coin. See a daily, not gonna be a weekly. Let's check this. Daily was slightly front run here, but I think this can go higher. It looks like it has some more potential, but when I look at this, it's one of the coins I don't really like trading that myself unless I'm scalp trading this. So for our members, they know how I would scalp or day trade this. In my opinion, it's very obvious what's happening here on the lower time frames. And that is, we can check 30-minute time frames here. Not interested in any of this price action. Then we see some spikes here. Let's just keep it very simple here. I want to see the volume to see what volume is doing here. I'm gonna add volume into this, and that is what I was expecting. Yeah, I saw that just with how the candles printed here. But let's have a look at this, because you asked for Kaito. This is one that recently had a little bit of an uptick here. So we can see candles starting to get a little bit bigger. We don't even have to look at anything. We can look at plain price action and volume down here. So we can see first leg to the upside on a large green candle. And what's very interesting to see down here is that we have a candle that is far above the average volume. We get a little bit of a pullback on low volume. We get another spike to the upside on, once again, high volume. We get a pullback, very low volume. We get another breakout, very high volume. So this is a pattern here, right? So in trading sometimes, or actually all of the time, it is about pattern recognition. So what we can see here is there is obviously, for whatever reason, some interest in this coin. Now what I would do on the lower time frames is identify this and then identify day trading opportunities. In my opinion, this one is super technical, super simple on how it trades. We're forming a supply zone. Why is it a supply zone? It's been tested once, twice, 3 times. We see the break on good volume. We see the retest on a decrease in selling volume. So not many people interested in selling that. Then we get another move to the upside. What are we doing here? We do the exact same. Supply once, twice, 3, 4 times. We see selling volume super low here. We get a clean breakout with a massive increase in buying volume here. We can see that with the spike. And what are we doing? Once again, similar to this, remember, pattern recognition. And we see previous supply flipped into demand. In my opinion, I would simply look at that. If this one right here, if I was trading Kaito against USD Tether, I want to see the next supply zone being formed here. Want to see volume with an increase breaking above. Now it gets a little bit messy, but stick with me. I want to see supply zone being formed here, see the break on a positive spike in volume. If I get the retest, I can take another long trade. All right, hope that makes sense. Hope that can shed some light on how I would trade these types of price action. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have a look at one more altcoin. We've been going on for 1 hour. Can see Jasmy. I remember Jasmy. Let's have a look at Jasmy. It's been a while that I checked it, I believe, but let's do it. And now I have to delete this because I don't want to keep it on my chart. All right, Jasmy. That looks like some interesting chart, but once again, I mean, imagine down here someone was investing into Jasmy. This would have been a very happy person on the pump to the upside. That is a pump of 200%. But not doing anything, not looking at the charts, not recognizing weakness. This person now a very sad person because he's back at break even. So yeah, that's just why it's so important to keep the charts in mind, even for investors. I even think that anyone who's investing in the stock market or crypto or whatever investment should have a basic knowledge of reading a chart and just realizing, I don't know, but that looks quite bearish here. Yeah, but that's just my humble and honest opinion. So I can see a monthly below. Monthly, what about a weekly? So weekly up here. Looks like a very controlled move to the downside. So we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks of downtrend on Flocky. So very bearish. Very bearish price action indeed. So what about dailies? Let's see a couple of dailies. It's all the dailies that I want. Oh, there's gonna be so much liquidity down here. Gonna include this low into my high time frame levels. This is SFP level. So I even have to analyze the historic volume on this, but I would expect that this is not really helpful because the range was down there. But anyway, I'm gonna check this real quick. Yeah, volume is all the way down here. So what I can already see though on Flocky is if we lose, and I can hide this, it's too unlikely that that's even gonna hold. So if we do not hold the lows down here, can even go a little bit lower, we will probably see this zone being tested on Flocky. So but that's not what I want to do. So if we lose this low right here, I'm gonna move it up so you can see. If we lose the low right here, we could see another 40 to 50% drop on Flocky. So that is a very, very important level. Let me see, what about the CC on that one? CC must have been a little bit higher. And I can check the .25 for price location, but even that one. Yeah, but it's gotta be this level down here. Gotta be, sorry, it's just me, right? Gotta be this level down here. If that is lost, it gets super bearish. I don't even like a one-to-one target on this. No. Yeah, I'm gonna place an alert for this level. Yeah, sorry, I realized that myself. I was confused with Flocky and Jasmine, but it's Jasmine. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but that's the only place I can see. Also for this coin, I mean, we dropped so massively. Don't really need to short down here. So if anything, I want to wait for lower, but just not really participate in that. And yeah, give it some time. So that will be the analysis of Jasmine. But yeah, I know that that I didn't cover all of the requests, but that's the altcoins that I want to look at for now. Just as a general information for people who are not members yet. So I do these streams once a week. So I'm doing a dedicated altcoin stream, looking for the setups for the next week. And these setups have been pretty well or pretty nice over the course of these videos. So if you're interested in that, obviously you can join anytime. Let me know in the chat if you are interested in me doing these videos here on YouTube as well more frequently, because I think it's always good to yeah, also give back to the public, have a look at some of these setups, because there are always great opportunities ahead. So I sincerely thank you all for being here. That's all the setups that I wanted to look at. So don't forget to hit the likes, let us know how you like the video, give some feedback, and then we can have a look at some more coins next time. So yeah, that will be it. Hope you all enjoyed and see you next time. Bye bye.